I'm gonna be very real in this video, just to put it out there. I'm a realist and I like to keep it real no matter if the truth comes off as bitter or sweet. So, and in this particular topic, it can be emotional for some people. It can stir up some anger because it's gonna be bitter truth for most people. I'm gonna be making a distinction between biracial and black, and the fact that biracial is not the same as black. And I'm gonna start off with the one-drop rule. The one-drop rule is a fallacy that's not only a fallacy but also hypocritical, racist, and illogical. I'm going to explain why. The one-drop rule teaches us that 1% of black blood makes you black. But the thing about this one-drop rule is that everybody in the world has some black in them. Because of the fact that humanity and the first humans came from Africa before they branched out, into other parts of the world, everybody has some black in them. You can take a DNA test right now. You can be Asian, you can be white, you can be Arab, whatever. You can take a DNA test right now and you will have somewhat small portion of black in you. So if this one-drop rule was to be taken seriously, we will have to consider everybody in the world as black. And we all know that's illogical. And now here's where it gets hypocritical because of that. The white man taught us that 1% of black blood makes you black, but this white man is carrying like 10 to 15% of black inside him. Because whites do have a certain amount of black in them, all of them. No matter if you want to believe it, if you want to hate it, it's the truth. White people have some black in them too. That's where it gets hypocritical, because how can you white folks tell us that when 1% of black blood makes us black, but you guys have some black in y'all? So, and then this is where it becomes racist, is the fact that back in the days, the reason why they made this one-drop rule theory is because the white man wanted to keep his race strictly white and so-called pure whites, authentic whites. So they did not want any mixture in their bloodline in terms of making a standard for whiteness. They did not want to add anybody who had a mixture of something else. Like if you were half Asian and half white, or half black and half white, they wanted to make sure that the standard for whiteness was of people who have two white parents. That you have to have two white parents to be considered white and benefit from white privilege and everything else that you benefit from when it comes to being white. That you have to have two white parents. So the white man made this one-drop rule to make sure that his race and standard of white was to have two white parents. So back in the days, way back then during slavery, when the white men raped the African woman and the African woman happened to birth the offspring that's half black and half white, the white man will cast that half black child to the group of black people because he did not want to accept that child as white, because that will pretty much destroy the standard that you have to have two white parents to have a white child. Which, of course, you do need two white parents to make a white child. So, and with that being said, you do also need to have two Asian parents to make an Asian child. So how come, when we say you need to have two black parents to make a black child, it's all racist, then we get a backlash. We literally do need two black parents to make a black child. Like if you're biracial and your mom is white, how in the world can you be black? That's like saying that white women can birth black babies, and we know that's a lie. So, then that's an example of how and why you need two black parents to make a black child, just as you do with all other races. So, I'm gonna make an example, about how nature itself shows us that mixing creates a whole different breed. Mixing creates a whole different, type of breed. A liger is considered a liger because the people who bred this liger take into consideration that this liger is a lion mixed with a tiger. Therefore, I'm not going to call it a lion, and I'm not going to call it a tiger. I'm going to call it something else and call it a liger. And the same thing for a mule. A mule is a donkey that's mixed with a horse. But we call it a mule. We don't call it another horse or another donkey. We don't claim to be just horse or just donkey. We call it a mule. We don't claim a liger to be just a tiger or a lion. We call it a liger to take into consideration that this animal is a mixture of lion and tiger. This animal is a mixture of horse and donkey. So we always name these animals that are mixed different titles. Same thing for dogs. Dogs who are mixed get different names. If you mix a Dalmatian and a poodle, you'll get a Dalmadoodle. They don't call it a Dalmatian. They don't call that mixed dog a poodle. They call it a Dalmadoodle. So, nature itself shows us that when you mix something, when you mix, two animals, you're going to get a whole different breed. And that breed will get a whole different name. It's not going to be just, half of what it is. It's going to be something else. It's going to be a category of its own. So, and the same for colors. In colors, like let's say if I mix red and blue, I get purple. I don't get another blue. I don't get another red. If I have 50% red, 50% blue, and I mix it together, I'll get a shade of purple. I'm not gonna get another blue and another red. We don't call purple red or blue. We call it purple because it's a whole different color that happens to be a mixture of blue and red. That itself is another example. So when it comes to human beings, how is it that when you are half black and half white, or half black and half Asian, or half white and half Asian, or whatever, half and half you are, how is it that you are not biracial? I mean, biracial itself is its own category. You can't choose to be just black or just white. We don't choose what race we are. We're born into it. Black is not a club. It's like some biracials treat black as a club that they can just join whenever they want to. They can go in and go out, go in and go out. Like whenever they want to go join the black side, they want to go join the black side and say they're black. When they don't want to be black anymore or be in the black club, they say they're mixed. Oh, I'm not black, I'm mixed. I mean, black is not a club. No one is born to choose what race they want to be. You're born into it. So if you're half and half black, half white, you are a biracial. You are not black. And I know there are biracials who claim to be black and identify as black, but when you are of two things and you only choose one, you have to deny the other to claim that one thing. So if I'm half black and half white, and I say that I'm black, whenever someone asks me, what am I? And I say I'm black, I have denied my white side. And every time I say I'm black, I've constantly denied my white side. That's a slap in the face and an insult to your white side, your white parent that took and played a role into your existence, into producing you and making who you are. It's a slap in the face to your white ancestors, that you have in your lineage from your white side. So that's the reason why it doesn't matter if you claim to be black. You're still a biracial. It doesn't matter if you identify as black. You're still a biracial because at the end of the day, it's all about, your DNA. It's all about who your parents are. If your parents are an interracial couple, the offspring of that interracial couple will be biracial. If your parents are not both black or both white or both Asian or both Arab or whatever, if your parents are of two different races, you are going to be a biracial person. No other parental match can make a black child besides a black mom and a black dad. You cannot have a white mom and a black dad and say you're black. You cannot have a black dad and a white mom and claim you're black. How can a black person who has two black parents be just as black as one with one black parent? Does that make any sense? It doesn't. How can black people with two black parents be just as black as those with only one black parent but happen to have a white dad or Asian mom or whatever? So that is why biracial is not the same as black. And that is why no matter if you claim or identify as black, you're still biracial at the end of the day. Because black is not a club that you can just join and wake up one day and say that, okay, I want to be black. I'm going to choose to be black. I mean, it all boils down to your parents, and that's it. It's by default. It's either you're biracial or black, and it all boils down to whether or not both of your parents are black, because you need to have two black parents to make a black child. Just as you need to have two Asian parents make an Asian child, you need to have two white parents make a white child, you need to have two Arab parents make an Arab child, you need to have two black parents make a black child. That's just how it is. It's simple logic. We were taught, about this black is dominant, thing. And yes, black is dominant. Black is dominant, but not in a sense that if me as a black person and I go have a baby with a white man, my child will come off as black. No, that's not how genetics work. When we say black is dominant, it's actually realistically referring to the fact that the black race is the dominant race. We're the dominant people in this world. From our melanin to our organs, and and the fact that we have stronger genetics and our organs are stronger, our melanin is stronger, so we are the dominant race, not only by quantity but also quality. We are dominant internally. So that's the real part. When someone says black is dominant, it's talking about how we are the dominant race quantity wise and quality wise, because we black people do have the dominant genes. We do have the stronger organs, and that's the reason why whenever they kill a black person, they always steal the black organs. Ask yourself why. Why is it that they always choose to kill a black person for their organs? They don't kill a white person. They don't kill an Asian person or Arab person. They kill a black person. So they always kill a black person and they harvest the organs. And whenever there's a white person who's in need of that organ, in the next 24 hours, unless they'll die, they get the organs from a black body. Ask yourself why. Why do you think they always choose to take the organs from black bodies but not any other race? It's because black is dominant in that sense, in that context, but not in the sense that if a black person procreates with a white person, that child will be black. No, your child will not be black. Your child will be biracial. And then there's those, biracials who like to, and some black people too, who like to put it out there that, well, we're all mixed. Well, we all have some white in us. Well, we're all mixed. No, we are not all mixed. And even in that sense, when you try to compare a black person who may have a white ancestor from the 1800s, 1700s, or whatever, white, one or two white ancestors from way back then, deep down their lineage from the days of slavery, you cannot compare that to you who has a white mom and a black dad, or a white dad and a black mom. You cannot compare that. To tell a black person with two black parents that they're mixed is not comparable to you who has a white mom and a black dad, or a white dad and a black mom. So, biracial is its own category. Just as I had used the example of the mule and a liger, the same reason why biracial is its own category. You're a mixed person. So you're a totally different, person than white people or black people. You are a mixture, which makes you a different category, which is biracial. We all know that black people have certain amount of struggles that we have in this country called America, and especially, most other European countries. We all have struggles, a lot of struggles, because we are being oppressed a lot and put down and just basically, oppressed. The black struggle is not the same as other people's struggle. When black folks and some biracials who try to use this cop-out that, well, we're all seen the same and we all go through the same struggles. Because, just because some of y'all go through the same struggles as black people does not make you black. There's some, so-called Latinos who go through the same struggles as black people. But are they black? No. They are not black like black people with two black parents. So, in terms of race in this world, it's not that complex. And I've gone through the political, the social, and the genetic perspectives and points of race. And especially when it comes to the white passing biracials, how can you, a biracial, half black but happens to look white and pass as white, how can you tell me that you're just as black as me? And it's not about whether or not I'm dark skinned or chocolate skinned or, caramel skinned or, medium brown, whatever. It doesn't matter about the shade. This is the fact that I have two black parents. You only have one. And the fact that you're a biracial person that can pass as white, how can you tell me or tell black people that you're just as very black as they are? It doesn't make any sense, because just looking at your face in itself shows that the white in you is showing more than the black in you. That's, part of how, these white passing biracials basically debunks that black is dominant in that context of race mixing. Black is not dominant in terms of, if I mix with a white man, I'm going to get a black looking child. And white passing biracials, they're walking human beings that debunks the belief that they are just as black as people with two black parents. It debunks the belief that black is dominant in that context. Because if black is dominant, then every time a black person procreates with a white person, that child will always look black. If anything, that child will always look black. But that's not the case. There are people out there who are biracial who look more white than black. You will not even guess that they had a black parent. So that itself, proves that black does have certain standard, that you cannot just have one black parent and be black. You see, that's how Rachel Dolezal got away with passing as black, or should I say black folks got bamboozled by this lady, for like a couple years, because black folks in America don't have a standard of what it takes to be black. A lot of black people, they still accept half black, half white biracials as black. And that's why this white woman with two white parents was able to, fool black people to thinking that she's a black woman, even though all she did was tan herself, wear a wig and probably do a little bit touch up here and there to look biracial. And she knew that because black folks in America still believe that, biracials are black, and even white passing biracials are black, and even white looking biracials are black, I'm gonna get away with calling myself black. That's how you know that it's logical. When a white woman can turn herself into looking biracial and fool black people, thousands of black people, to believing that she's black. Like, really, black people still accept white looking biracials as black. And that's the reason why black people were able to get fooled by this woman. Because black America does not have a standard for blackness. We're still battling between what it takes to be black. And it's not even that hard. If you look at other nations in this world, other countries, they already have a standard for blackness. Latin America, South America, half black, half white person, or a biracial person will be called a mestizo. Or some other, words that they might have depending on the country. Brazil, I think they call them mulatto or something like that. And then they have quadroons and octoroons and things like that. And then when you go to Africa, no matter what country you go to, well, in a section of the Arab invaded countries. But if you go to Africa, they will label you as a mulatto, as a biracial, as a half caste, a half breed. Like, they will label you anything synonymous to biracial. Even in their native tongue, whatever it is in their native tongue, they're gonna say you're biracial. They're not gonna say that you're black like them. They're not. Like, and that's why I say that if you are biracial and you think you're black, go to Africa, the continent of black people, the motherland of the black race. Go to Africa and see for yourself if you are black. But it seems like black America and blacks abroad in these European dominated countries do not want to adopt these other nations' standard of blackness, because every other nation has a standard for blackness except for black America and some other blacks in some European countries who are still going by these white man's one drop rule. I know there are some black Americans who do realize what I'm saying. They do understand. They do differentiate blacks and biracials, and they do get it. There are a large portion of black Americans, of course, in Europe too, the blacks in Europe who are also colonized with that one drop rule fallacy. They too still don't get it. but some of them do. I'm just saying that biracial, it's its own category, y'all. Y'all need to stop accepting anybody that's half black and half something else. Y'all need to stop accepting them as black as you. The fact that, we have biracials out there who are benefiting from certain privileges that, actual black people cannot benefit from, and we cannot enjoy like they're enjoying, it just shows that, you are not like them. You're not the same. You're not the same. Because if you are just as black as us, you will not be getting those benefits. You will not be getting those privileges. So there are so many things I've already talked about that proves that biracial and black is not the same. I mean, you can be biracial and then identify as black. You can be biracial and claim to be black, but at the end of the day, you are biracial. At the end of the day, you cannot deny your non-black side. You can't deny your white side. That's why I said that in order to claim black and to say that I'm black, even though you're half white as well, in order to claim to be just black, you have to slap your white side in the face and say, I don't want to, identify as you. I don't want to take into consideration that I'm partially white. I'm going to say I'm black. That whenever somebody asks me, what am I? I'm going to say I'm black. I'm going to claim to be black. But I'm not going to take into consideration that, hey, just so you know, I'm also half white. Just so you know, I'm biracial. I have a white parent and a black parent. So, overall, I'm just going to put it out there that biracials are not the same as black people with two black parents. And that's just the truth. Whether you like it or not, that's just the truth. So, that's all for this video. Thanks for listening. Peace.